As soon as Rebecca found out that she was pregnant, she was elated. She had been trying to conceive for over a year, and now her dream had finally come true. She and her husband, David, couldn't wait to welcome their little bundle of joy into the world. However, as the days went by, Rebecca began to experience intense pregnancy pains that seemed to get worse every day. She tried to ignore them at first, thinking that they were just a normal part of being pregnant, but soon they became unbearable. Rebecca's obstetrician, Dr. Peters, advised her to take it easy and rest as much as possible, but even that didn't seem to help. The pains were so severe that they would wake her up at night, leaving her exhausted and irritable during the day. David did everything he could to help. He would massage her back and feet, bring her hot water bottles and even cook her favorite meals. But nothing seemed to alleviate the pain. As Rebecca entered her third trimester, the pain intensified. It was now so severe that she could barely move, let alone go to work. David took a leave of absence from his job to take care of her, and they both hoped that the pain would subside as the pregnancy progressed. But it didn't. In fact, it got worse. One night, as Rebecca was lying in bed, she suddenly felt a sharp pain in her abdomen that made her gasp for breath. David rushed her to the hospital, where they were immediately admitted. Dr. Peters examined her and discovered that Rebecca was experiencing contractions. They were premature, and the baby wasn't due for another 6 weeks. The doctor tried to stop the contractions with medication, but they continued to come. Rebecca was put on strict bed rest, and David stayed by her side, holding her hand and offering words of encouragement. They prayed that the baby would be okay and that the pain would go away. Days turned into weeks, and Rebecca's pain only seemed to get worse. She was given pain medication, but it only dulled the pain for a short time. She would lie in bed, writhing in agony, tears streaming down her face. David was beside himself with worry. He had never seen his wife in so much pain before, and he felt helpless. All he could do was hold her hand, rub her back, and tell her how much he loved her. As the weeks went by, the doctors became increasingly concerned about the baby's health. They ordered a series of tests and ultrasounds, and the results showed that the baby was not growing as it should be. Rebecca and David were devastated. They had hoped and prayed for a healthy baby, but now it seemed like their worst fears were coming true. They were told that they would need to deliver the baby as soon as possible, and that there was a chance that the baby might not survive. Rebecca was rushed into the delivery room, where she was surrounded by doctors and nurses. David held her hand and prayed silently, begging for a miracle. After several hours of labor, their baby was born. It was a boy, and he was small and fragile looking. The doctors immediately took him to the neonatal intensive care unit, where they began to monitor his breathing and heart rate. Rebecca was exhausted, but she was also overjoyed to finally hold her baby in her arms. David stood by her side, tears in his eyes, as they looked at their son together. The next few days were a blur of pain and worry. Rebecca was recovering from the delivery, and the baby was still in the NICU. David stayed with her, sleeping in a small cot beside her bed, and visiting the baby as often as he could.